Today, we're going to open a window into a world that might seem both completely foreign and, fascinatingly familiar. We're talking about the world of ancient surgery. We'll be diving into this remarkable text that lays out surgical principles with just astonishing clarity, and I think some of its insights are really going to surprise you.
So our guide for this journey is the Ashtanga Hridya. It was put together by a scholar named Vagbhata, and it was really designed to be this concise, easy-to-get summary of this vast body of Ayurvedic knowledge. And this isn't just some dusty old book, it's a super practical handbook that people have been studying for centuries.
So just picture this for a second. There's no electricity, no antibiotics, no fancy surgical robots. What would it actually be like to go under the knife? Well, the answer is way more sophisticated than you might think. It's this incredible blend of really keen observation, practical skill, and a deep, deep understanding of the human body. To find out how they did it, we're going to zoom in on one specific part, Chapter 29. It's called Shastra Karma Vidhi, which basically means the method of surgical procedures. And this chapter, it's like a step-by-step guide that takes us all the way from the initial diagnosis right through to long-term recovery.
Now, everything starts not with a cut, but with an observation. The first, and I mean the most critical stage of any procedure was diagnosis, and it all centered on reading the body's own signals, specifically the swelling.
So the primary goal, and this is kind of wild, was to actually avoid surgery if at all possible. The text is super clear about this. The first thing you do is try to treat the inflammation and stop pus from ever forming in the first place. I mean, that's preventative medicine in its earliest form right there.
Okay, so to know when or even if you should operate, a surgeon had to master these 3 stages of swelling. First up is amma, that's the unripe stage. Then you have pachyamana, which is when it's ripening and the inflammation is really active. And finally, pakva, the ripe stage, when pus has fully formed and the abscess is ready to go. Timing, you see, was absolutely everything. And believe me, the text does not mince words about getting this timing right. It basically says that the ignorant surgeon who cuts too early is just as bad as the negligent one who waits too long, which tells you that a surgeon's most important tool wasn't the scalpel, it was their judgment.
All right, so once the swelling was judged to be ripe and surgery was definitely happening, the focus shifted. It was all about preparing the patient, and not just physically, but mentally too.
And here's a detail that I just love for its humanity. You know how today we fast before surgery? Well, back then, the patient was given a meal that they actually liked. It was this simple, compassionate act to strengthen and comfort someone before what was obviously a really difficult experience.
But what about the pain, right? The text says that patients who were used to drinking alcohol were given strong wine. This helped them handle the procedure and, maybe even more importantly, kept them from fainting. It was a practical, if pretty potent solution in an age before modern anesthetics.
So the procedure didn't just depend on a ready patient, it absolutely demanded an exceptional doctor. The Ashtanga Hridya lays out a very specific set of qualities that separated a good surgeon from a truly great one.
And this just brilliantly shows the high standards they had. I mean, of course, a surgeon needed courage, speed, and sharp tools. But just as important were the internal qualities, a hand that didn't sweat or tremble, and a mind that stayed totally clear and unconfused under immense pressure. It's a profile of just unwavering confidence and skill.
So after the surgeon's work was done, the long process of healing began. And this is where we see a truly holistic understanding of recovery, one that involved the wound, the body, and the mind.
So right after the procedure, the wound wasn't just covered up, no way. It was carefully packed with a medicated wick. This dressing, often made from a paste of sesame, ghee, and honey, was designed to be both antiseptic and soothing. It created this perfect environment for healing to begin. The whole post-op schedule was incredibly deliberate, so after that initial dressing on day 1, the wound was left completely alone on the second day. The text warns that if you disturb it too early, you're going to cause severe pain and actually delay healing. Only on the 3rd day was the wound finally cleaned and redressed for the first time. Patience was key.
Diet was also a huge part of recovery. There was this strict list of foods to avoid, things they believed would cause inflammation or be tough to digest. The ideal diet? Super simple. Light, nourishing food in small amounts to give the body the fuel it needed to heal without being overburdened. And this is a remarkable insight into the patient's emotional state. The text explicitly says that someone who listens to pleasant stories and stays hopeful will actually heal faster.
I mean, that's an ancient acknowledgement of the mind-body connection that we are still exploring today. It's incredible.
And the care didn't stop when the wound closed up. Not at all. Patients were advised to live this really disciplined lifestyle for at least 6 months after they recovered. And that meant avoiding physical strain, indigestion, and even strong emotions like anger or fear, all to make sure the body could get back to full, stable strength.
So, as we look back, it really begs a question for our own time. In an era of just incredible technology, what can we still learn from an approach that treated the whole person, their body, their mind, and their spirit? It's some powerful food for thought. Thanks so much for joining me on this journey back in time.